Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today I've got a really good swim bait tip for you that a lot of people probably don't know, but this is something that can take what is a poor performing swim bait and get a lot more action out of it to generate more strikes. So before I get into that though, I do want to remind you that I've got a Tackle Warehouse affiliate link. So if you're looking to purchase some tackle and you want to support the channel, please use my Tackle Warehouse affiliate link, which I'll put in the video description. Great way to support the channel. And every little bit I make from that comes right back into making content for all of us to hopefully help us all catch a few extra fish. All right, so let's talk about swim baits. So I'm sure a lot of you out there have probably purchased swim baits before where you felt like the performance and the movement just was not that great. I think a lot of times you get swim baits, especially when they're more custom made swim baits, they're more smaller garage shop swim baits. You get a lot of difference between the plastics that was used from one batch to the next. Sometimes you get one where you have great tail kick, other times you don't have the same tail kick, and it just can be an overly stiff bait. Well, one tip has to do with some of these baits that are produced. Some of these are more mass produced, some of these are smaller custom shops, but a lot of swim bait makers will actually take the swim bait that they poured out of the mold, and then after the mold, they'll actually dip it into clear plastic. And that does a couple of things. One, it really helps kind of seal in, say, the eyes. It gives the bait a much more finished look. You can add some additional colors that way, and generally it makes it a little bit more tough to hold up to more fish catches. Personally, I find that a lot of times what that does though is it kills the action of the bait. So what I'll actually do is what I call de-skin the bait, so that when they dip it in that clear plastic, I'll actually remove that, and it's real easy to do. And one way to determine whether the bait has been done is a lot of times what the maker will actually do is grab it by the tail and just dip it from that standpoint. But they don't do the tail, because if they did the tail, that would kill a lot of the action. So like in this case, you can see, hopefully you can see that there's actually like a plastic line here. And when that's the case, you know that they've actually dipped it. So in that point, literally a lot of times all you got to do is peel it, and you can peel that layer right off. So you can see I'm actually peeling it. So I'll just take that and continue to peel it right off. It's just like a skin on the bait. And in this case, you get that bait to come all the way off. You see the eyes will pop off with it, which I'm generally okay with. I don't actually like throwing eyes. But there I've got the skin of the bait, and I've got a bait that's much more flimsy now. You took that extra layer off. And from that standpoint, when this is on there now, I'm going to get a lot more tail kick out of the bait. I may lose a little bit of my belly roll, because a lot of times your stiffer baits have more side to side belly roll. But if I'm looking for actual side to side motion, I can go ahead and just remove that skin. So in this case, you can see one eye came off, one eye didn't. I could pluck that other eye out and glue it back in. The reality is that eye's not going to stay in that well now, regardless, even if I do glue it in. But I've just removed the skin. So I've got, this is the actual bait after it was poured in the mold, before they dipped it into a clear plastic. And now this bait, in my opinion, will have more movement. So there's a lot of baits out there that you'd be surprised that you can actually do that with. Let's see. This looks kind of bad. This does not look necessarily like a skin, but there you go. There's the swim bait has lost the skin in that case. A lot of times they don't necessarily come off that well. That's one of the best actually that's ever come off for me. A lot of times they'll tear in the process. The point is, it came off really good, and you'll have a little bit more action on that swim bait. Really simple tip for you, something to give a try. I find a lot of times when I do get baits that have been dipped, I don't like how they run, but when I take that skin off, it's like a whole different swim bait. So give that tip a try, guys, if you're struggling with some of your baits. Again, not all the swim baits have that, but a lot of them do. So give it a try if you do have some that you feel are running poorly. That's my tip for you today. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and stay tuned. We'll have a new video coming out tomorrow for you.